Hello, people. Uh, yeah, I had a little break. Got a chance to go on a retreat with uh, my part of my faith community. Blessings to all y'all in Interchange and especially the LA crew. Um, also, hey, for those that missed me, thanks for your comments and encouragement. This is day 18, reading the 1 Year Bible together. And we're looking at Matthew 12, 22 through 45. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to share how these passages relate to my own thoughts and thinking. I'm not going to try to analyze and actually teach on this passage. I haven't had really the time to do the kind of study that I'd like to do before I would try to teach on the passage. I'm really struck by what Jesus says in verse 33 about identifying fruit. The flow of life out of our lives. Um, it's there's a role in looking at what we do, and it's called evaluation. And um, one of the things that we can look at in terms of what's flowing out of our lives, we can evaluate the words. And if we're honest, there's usually a mixture. There are words that come out that reflect some really good realities. And there's words that reflect some broken or unstable realities. Doing these videos have really been beneficial to me because I've gotten a chance to look at and hear again words that I've spoken and shared with you all. And that kind of reflection has been a real positive, raising, self-awareness raising kind of thing. Don't want to boast about my own words, but I would boast, we're celebrating Martin Luther King's Day. Let me boast about the words of a man like that. Someone who, through their words, moved many hearts to do what I believe is some very amazing and good things. There is also the reality that words are weighty, they can be toxic, destructive, and Jesus makes it clear that God takes what we say as a weighty matter because they reflect what's in the heart. So that's a piece there that I think is important to reflect on for me. And I'll continue. I'm going to continue to use this as another vehicle to become more self-aware about how I use words, content quality, directness, meaning, what's in my heart, the whole process. Going on, Jesus here at the beginning of this passage continues this work of healing, and here he is healing someone who is demon-possessed. I want to be honest, there was a time in my life where even the idea of demon possession was like, and be honest, it's also nothing like the movies. But all that said, worldviews that simply want to not dialogue with, but simply erase the language and meaning that peoples have carried through time to help and describe realities are just trying to disconnect from the dialogue rather than enter the dialogue with mutual respect. And I think that that's become more, I've become more and more aware of that when I've worked cross-culturally. Also, there's a result in here. Someone is actually released and healed. And then Jesus says, you guys do things to see people healed. What power are you drawing on? He's trying to get people off of this channel of just hating, and they're not interested, and he tries to make it clear that their judgments of him are way off base. And then he's like, you guys aren't working with me. You really are working against me. When someone is trying to, it's amazing. Have you seen this? Where people are trying to actually generate and do like good in the world, and then all of a sudden like people start working against them. I don't get it. I don't get why that happens. But over and over again, I've seen that kind of reality where people are trying to do good, and then people rise up and resist it. I think there's a way that people resist change. Also, people like this preferential like space. Oh, I'm the person in authority, I'm the person in control, that kind of thing. They need to be humble and say, I don't want to be like that. So I really want to be careful to not crush good when it's happening. And if I'm not in charge or not in control of it, maybe not to judge it so quickly. The sign of resurrection. For me, intellectually, I came to a turning point where I wrestled with who I believe Jesus to be. And for me, looking at the historical context and the death and resurrection of Christ, and digging up that history really brought me to a place where I was convinced that this was an actual historical reality. Once I came to the place where I said, Christ rose from the dead, it really caused me to then want to engage the realities that Christ talked about. And so once I gave the revelation that was brought from the scriptures a place in my life started to change in so many amazing and positive ways. And so I've started sharing my journey with my friends, and it's also been good for many of them. And that's really the story for 2,000 years of Christians sharing, people sharing with other people life that they've found in God. Now, a little thing here, Jesus tries to get people to understand that, you can't just, deal with evil without transforming the heart. Following God and having a new life isn't house cleaning. It's not just simply rearranging. We can talk in a lot of different terms, but there are realities where if people have destructive realities inside of them, external change isn't enough. And if you want to see people truly whole and healed, you have to go deeper. And if you don't get at the deeper realities, evil's going to reassert itself. And we don't want that to happen. Well, remember to continue to use your mind, your heart, and your love wisely. Keep the faith, persist in it, and journey with an open mind to learn and discover.